Hey, everybody.
Welcome to our podcast where we agree
To disagree.
on a lot of different things. In today's episode, we're going to be diving into who we are and why we started this podcast, especially for those of you that don't know us. We're super excited to make content that's both relatable but also entertaining and fun to watch.
All right, so here we go. So first we're going to start with some basics, how old we are and where we're from. You want to start or do you want me to take it
I'll
away?
start.
Okay.
So I'm 25. I grew up in the Bay Area, California, a little town called San Ramon, just east of San Francisco. Moved to Utah with my family when I started high school. Kind of finished high school there, so that's kind of home. That's where my family still is, here in Utah. Yeah, so that's where I'm from.
It's pretty basic.
That's pretty basic, yeah. But depending on who I'm talking to, if someone asks me where I'm from, I'll say either California or Utah. Like if they're from Utah, I'll say Utah, because then they'll know where. Maybe we, know people. But pretty much anyone else, I just say California, because I think California is cooler.
Yeah, but it gets really confusing because I feel like every conversation you have, it's Utah, California, Utah, and I'm like,
Well, I mean, I can claim both. Like I did high school in both places.
it's not as cool as Arizona, though. Let's be honest.
I don't know about that.
All right, so I'm 25. I'm actually going to be 26 in December, which is so crazy. I feel like I am getting so old. Holy cow. Anyway, I am from Gilbert, Arizona. I was born in Mesa, Arizona, and I've lived in Arizona pretty much my whole life. I lived in Utah for 2 years when I was 6 up until 8 because my dad got transferred to Utah, and then he got transferred back to Arizona, so we moved back and lived there until I came to college here at the University of Utah and was here for 3 years, and then went back to Arizona again to train for the Olympics. And then right after the Olympics, we were home for like a week, and we packed up our bags, got everything together really fast. We had some help. People were packing up our whole house, and it was sad because I feel like I didn't get to really like celebrate after the Olympics. We just
Well, we went to Florida.
yeah, but like with friends and family. We had like a welcome back party for me, but still wasn't like the same. I didn't really get to say bye to everybody. But anyway, then we moved back here to Utah, and we've been here since, and we'll probably be here for a little while longer.
How did you meet? When did you get married? Okay. We both have our own version of the story, so we should probably just take turns. Something we'll agree to disagree on.
Maybe I can just like chime in a little
right
bit.
off the bat. Okay.
I don't know.
I'll tell my version. So I was at Brigham Young University, which is a university in Provo, Utah. Mykayla was at the University of Utah in Salt Lake, about an hour apart. And I had a friend from high school. Her name's Emma. Shout out to Emma. She became friends with Mykayla at the University of Utah.
In my writing class.
In her writing class. And I wasn't ever super close with Emma in high school. But like we were friends. We knew each other, but I don't know, not crazy close. But she just decided that we would be a good match. She knew.
What happened is Emma was like, you need to date somebody, you need to get a boyfriend. And I'm like, no, I think I'm okay. Like, I'm enjoying being single, like, just enjoying college, like, just doing my own thing. Because I've had previous relationships, and I was just like, I just need a break. So, anyway, we were on Mutual, which is a dating app.
Okay, now I have to rewind. So, I had a friend. He's like, because I wasn't dating anyone at the time, he's kind of like my Emma. He's like, you should get this app. It's kind of like Tinder, but it's in Utah. Long story. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I'd rather just meet people at parties or whatever. But he's like, no, like you should get it. And so I got the app, made a profile.
And Emma made me a profile, and I was like, Emma, I just can't get into this life. Like, this is not how I want to meet my future boyfriend, future husband through a dating app. It just like wasn't my thing. And she's like, come on, just do it. And so we were scrolling through, and she found Jonas on the app and was like, oh my gosh, I went to high school with him. Like, he was so cute in high school. Everybody wanted to date him. I don't think he ever had a girlfriend. Like, you should date him. And then I swiped up, we matched, but we never really talked on Mutual. We just followed each other on social media and started, Jonas was taking this girl out on a date a couple times. And
okay, hold on. Now I need to go back. So,
okay.
Anyways, we never really talked on it. I probably knew that we matched. Probably checked it. But I still didn't know that she knew Emma, because Emma had like told her, but Emma didn't tell me, and Emma didn't tell her to reach out to me either. So that happened, and then there was this girl that I was friends with, and she was from the same city that Mykayla was from, and she and I were hanging out one time, and Mykayla messaged me on Instagram. I guess we must have followed each other on Instagram at some point.
We followed each other on Instagram for a while, and Jonas served a mission for 2 years for our church, and he just came home, started at BYU. He'd only been home for like 2 weeks, and he had like 2 pictures on his Instagram because he just made an Instagram when he came home. So I couldn't really tell, like, he seemed cute, but I was like, I don't really know much about him. Like, he only has 2 pictures. Like, this is weird. So then as I was following him for a little bit, he started posting more and was more active and posting on his story. And I was just
we still didn't really like talk or anything.
Yeah. And I was like, he is just so cute. And then I saw that he was taking that girl out that I kind of knew from Arizona. So he took her out for her birthday. He like posted happy birthday. They were like getting dessert. And so I'm like, she is not the fly.
Left the window open.
She was like, I was like, sorry, pause.
For those of you that are just listening, there's a fly that's terrorizing Mykayla. I left the window open.
Anyway, I just remember they were like going out, and I was like, no, he's not gonna date her. Like
we weren't going out.
They were going out. Basically, they were going out multiple times.
We were hanging out.
Anyway, I was like, I'm gonna swoop in and I'm gonna win him over, you know. So I DM'd him and I was like, oh my gosh, I know her from Arizona. Like, what a small world, like something like that. And then we kind of just started talking, and then he's like, hey, I'm gonna be in Bountiful.
No. Then we started talking, and then it was like the next day I saw a picture of you and Emma on your Instagram.
Oh.
And I was like, wait, how do you know Emma? And then that's when we made the connection. We had 2 mutual friends pretty much. And then we started talking. And then...
But literally the next day, he was like, I'm going to be in Bountiful when I hang out. And I was like...
So Bountiful is where my family's from.
He was just taking this girl out for her birthday, and then he wants to come hang out with me. I was like, okay.
Okay, so going back, if you remember, I said at the beginning we were an hour apart. That's probably... I think that's why like I didn't really message her or anything, because like I didn't want to do the drive. I didn't want the distance, right? I just wanted to... I don't know, stay in my town. But my parents live in Bountiful. I was going back home for the weekend. Bountiful's like 10 minutes from Salt Lake City. So I'm like, hey, we're already talking. I'm like, hey, what are the odds? I'm actually going to be up in Bountiful this weekend. We should hang out or do something.
Yeah, so me and Emma were actually at the library, and I just got done with practice, so I felt like not cute. And I was like, Jonas is going to come to the library and meet up with us. And so he walks in, and I'm sitting down at the table with Emma. We're studying. And I go, Emma, is that Jonas? I'm like, he's so freaking tall. I was like, there's no way this is going to work. I was like, why didn't you tell me he was this tall? She's like, well, he was tall, but he must have grown a lot on his mission. And would you
I grew a bit after
like
high school.
3 inches.
Yeah, and I knew too, because my friends and I, we just looked Mykayla up on Google. So we're like, oh wow, she's 5 foot. That's kind of short. But
yeah,
so I wasn't surprised, but I guess Mykayla was.
Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna work. I was like, he's really cute, but I just don't know if I can date someone that tall. And then we ended up going to the Pie, which is a pizza place here that's really good, and we just hit it off. Like, it was so easy to talk to you. It was really, really fun. And then he took me back to my dorm and dropped me off, and then went and stayed at his parents' house. And I remember the next day I was like, you know, had butterflies, and I was all giddy, and I was like, I really think I like him, but I just kept going back and forth. I'm like, he's too tall. I can't do it. Like, I always dreamed I was going to marry someone, like, I wanted like someone tall, but I always thought it was going to be someone kind of short, and then I'd have like Olympic gymnast babies, and they were going to be like such great athletes, which they'll probably still be good athletes, but
we'll see.
I just thought gymnastics. Like, my whole life's been gymnastics. I thought all my kids were going to do gymnastics. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, I was hanging out with Emma again, and I was at her house, and she lived like down the street in a different neighborhood from Jonas's parents' house. Anyway, I was like, Emma, can we should I text Jonas? Like, should we hang out with him? Like, he's at his parents' house. He's like right up the street. Can we like go hang out with him? Like, should we do it? And so then I was messaging him on Snapchat, and I was like, hey, do you want to hang out? And he's like, no, I'm sick. I'm sorry. Like, I'm just not feeling good. And I'm like, okay, he's not into me. Like, this is it, you know? And I went on his Snapchat story, and all of his friends were over at his house hanging out.
Not all my friends. I had like 2 friends over.
Yeah, but still, I was like...
I didn't think that one through.
Yeah, and then end of the story, we didn't talk for a little bit. Like, we still kind of talked, but like we didn't really hang out. And then finally we started hanging out again. And then
okay, so there's another rewind. So the reason I was going back to
Well, I'm
Bountiful.
going to tell him this
Okay.
first.
Okay, then I'll
So
explain it.
first, just real quick, after we finally kind of started hanging out again, we finally ended up dating. It took me forever, and Jonas was like, "Can we just date already?" But I just like wanted to make sure he was like the one I wanted to date. Anyway, I didn't find out till like way after we were dating that he had no surgery. That's why he didn't want to hang out, but he lied to me and said he was sick.
I was feeling sick. So this is what happened. So I've always had issues breathing through my nose like my whole life. And finally, like when I came back from being a missionary, I'm like, hey, I just need to schedule this surgery, like just get it fixed so I can breathe right. Um, and it was in Salt Lake, and my parents are in Bountiful, so that's why I was going up to Bountiful, stay with my parents. My mom was driving me like to the hospital the next day. But it's a pretty extensive surgery. They like went up in my nose and fixed something. I don't know what happened. But that's like a hard story to tell a cute girl, the first time you meet her, like, oh, I'm getting a nose surgery tomorrow, right? So like, I didn't tell her when we were hanging
No.
out,
I wouldn't have mind.
especially because like we were hanging out till like 2 a.m. My surgery was at like 5, and so I went home, got 2 hours of sleep, and I don't know. So I didn't tell her. I couldn't think of a good way to tell her. And then afterwards, I had no idea what the recovery was like, but there was gauze stuck all the way up my nose, and there was like a splint on it, and it was all bruised and like.
Yeah, but I would have been like, oh, I want to go see him.
Yeah, that's just
and,
not the
like,
look that you want, right? Like,
I don't know. Maybe you guys should let
and
us
my
know.
eyes were bloodshot, and I was like, I'm pretty sure they gave me pain meds. And so I just remember like waking up like back at my house, because I don't really remember waking up after the surgery, and I'm like, man, I cannot see Mykayla like this. So I'm like, yeah, I'm sick. I'm not feeling good. But then I had friends that were like up there, so I'm like, oh yeah, come over. And so that's what that happened. But then it took me forever to recover. Like I was still doing pretty bad. Like I'd get, even when they took like the gauze out and my face wasn't swollen anymore, I'd get like nosebleeds all the time and stuff. And so I just wanted to be on my A game when I hung out with Mykayla again. So that's kind of why it took a few weeks. It probably took more like a month or so.
But the really cute part is when Jonas got his surgery, you were all loopy from.
Oh, when I woke up.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And he had said something really cute to his mom.
Yeah, well, so my mom says that as soon as I woke up, I was like, Mom, go check Instagram. Because I guess I put a picture of Mykayla and me on my Instagram story. I'm like, Mom, go look at my Instagram story. I'm like, do you see that girl that I hung out with? And then I don't know, I told her that I thought she was really cute or something. But my mom loved that I said that, and I don't remember any of it. But so yeah, that's the story. That's how we met.
It's cute.
Yeah.
I always say finding true love is better when you aren't looking for it, and then it's through like a mutual friend or somebody you know. I know a lot of people have success finding love on a dating app. So I guess you could kind of say we kind of did that, but
it's funny because Mykayla, you were kind of like done dating, and I like didn't even really want to start. I didn't want a relationship. I just kind of wanted to like, meet a bunch of people.
Jonas had his whole like
had my whole
career
life planned out. Whenever I didn't get married till I was like 30.
And he was like, I'm gonna finish college and at BYU, and then I'm gonna go to Stanford, and I don't want a girlfriend. And then we literally like started talking 2 weeks after he was home from his mission, and then I was his first girlfriend, which is crazy. He kissed like 4 girls in high school, so I was his first girlfriend and his wife. So I feel like it's pretty
worked
cool.
out. Well, yeah. So the next questions are, when did you get married? How long were you engaged for? So that's a funny one because we started dating September, November.
I don't even know. Is that bad?
End of 2017, and then 2019 was when you left for the Olympics. So we were both in Utah spring of 2019. She left to Arizona once school got out to train for the Olympics, and then I left to California for work. So we both left Utah at like the same time, and that was our first time really doing long distance. And so we just kind of just decided like at the end of the summer, like, hey, we should just get married. But it was hard because she was full swing back into elite gymnastics, and like by the time we decided like, hey, we should get married, we looked at our calendars, and I was already going on a trip to Thailand. It was a trip that I had won through work. It was a competition that I won. And so it was a trip to Thailand. I got to bring someone. And so I'm like, wait, like, let's just make that our honeymoon. And it was in November, and Mykayla's like, well, I'm going to be in Germany for Worlds all of October. And so we were like kind of scrambling to, and so like,
Yeah, but I wasn't even trying for Worlds. Like, I just come back into elite. I had 3 months till classics to get ready for classics and championships. My main goal was the Olympics. I wasn't even thinking about Worlds. And then Tom, the Olympic coach, was like, hey, just come to World Selection Camp. Like, it'll be good practice for you just to get another, like, competition under your belt since it's been a while. And so I was like, okay. But at the time, I was like, I'm planning a wedding. And so my mom was like, she was like, let's just go wedding dress shopping, like, just in case. And I was like, I ain't making Worlds. So we literally went wedding dress shopping the day before I left for World Selection Camp, found a dress in
that's
one
right.
day.
I remember that. And then the next day.
And then the next day we fly
right.
out. I'm at camp, and it was a 2-day competition, and I got 4th in the all around and made the made the Worlds team. So it was just like, it was
yeah,
crazy.
so it was because we like decided to get married. It would have been like end of August or like beginning of September.
Yeah, but then like there's
And
also
then-
the Olympics. Like the Olympics were supposed to happen. We didn't know it was going to be postponed at this time. So we were like, what if the Olympics happen in the summer and I make it? It's just going to be like so crazy.
Yeah, so long story short, we were only engaged for like 3 weeks because because I couldn't propose until she came back from Germany, because when we decided to get married was I visited her, and then I was in Arizona for like 2 days maybe, went back to work, and she went straight back to training. And so like we like decided, kind of started planning it, and then I didn't finish work and go back to Utah until like end of September. And it was like right when I got back that you left for Worlds. Mm-hmm. And so we're like, well, shoot, how do I propose if you're in Germany for the next month? And so we like planned everything. And then I planned the proposal. And then as soon as she got back, I flew her to Utah, proposed, and we got married. Like it was like 3 or 4 weeks later. It was less than a month.
Yeah, it was really, I think it was like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
It was pretty
crazy.
It was pretty quick. And like people were telling us like, I think there was a typo on your Instagram post. You're getting married next year, right? Like no, it's happening. But like what they didn't know is that we had all of like August and September to prep for it and plan for it. So like a lot of it was already planned. So people thought that we just whipped up a wedding.
I mean, we still whipped up a wedding. Like my mom and my sister were super stressed out and were freaking out, and everybody at our church was like helping put stuff together and doing it all. And I didn't have a wedding planner. It was just like, but it turned out really good. Like everything really turned out great. It was beautiful.
Pictures were great. It was in Arizona. Then we did a reception in Utah later. But it was nuts because it was like the day after the wedding. That morning we flew to Thailand, and then we had our honeymoon. And then right when we got back, I think we got the apartment, and then I
got the apartment before we got married.
Yeah, it started moving stuff in, and then when we drove down. I drove down with my family for the wedding. I like brought all my stuff, and then I like moved into the apartment while she was at her parents', and then it was like boom, we went straight to Thailand, came back at this brand new apartment. And that was home now for me. And then she just immediately went back into training, and like that was life.
Yeah, it was crazy. And we really did end up lucking out because COVID hit in January and we got married in November. So it all just worked out. It was a rush. It was a great, crazy rush. Wouldn't have changed it for the world, but yeah, it was crazy. Okay. Next question.
What kind of upbringing do we both have? It's a good question. It's kind of open-ended. I don't know. I mean, everyone knows Mykayla's upbringing. It's gymnastics, right? That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys don't already know, my mom had me when she was 40. I was the baby. I was kind of like the accident. So I have an older brother and 2 older sisters. And my brother has 6 kids. My other sister has 4. And my other sister has 2. And so they all did gymnastics. My mom was a swimmer, and my dad did like baseball and other sports. And my mom just really liked gymnastics, so she put all of us in gymnastics. And so I kind of just followed my siblings' footsteps. And it was like, ever since I was born, I was flipping, twisting. My sisters just loved, I was like their rag doll. They just did everything with me. And it was, I guess gymnastics was just kind of meant to be. Like ever since I was born, it was like, my family just kind of knew, like, I think she's going to be an Olympian, which is crazy. But that's kind of how I got into gymnastics. And my other sisters got to do other sports and different things. They ended up retiring from gymnastics early on. My sister Chelsea went to level 9, and then my sister Katie went to like level 7, level 8, and then they both quit, and then I continued doing it. So it's been a crazy journey, but.
And it was full time from what, like age 12?
Yeah, age 12, like 7 hours a day, Monday through Saturday, which is crazy.
It's nuts.
I don't know how I did it. But I mean, Jonas, so we each have 3 siblings, so there's 4 of us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess you can explain it for yourself, but Jonas has an older sister, Maddie, and then Jonas is the second oldest, and then his sister Ariel, and then his brother Ben. Nobody on his family is married except for us, and we would be the first to have kids on his side, so his parents are like... Oh,
my parents are so grandbaby hungry, and they know that, like, my siblings, no one else is really close to getting married, or at least, let alone having kids. And so, like, they know that, like, we are it for the next few years if they want grandkids. So.
And I think my mom's excited for us to have kids, but I mean, there's 12 grandkids in my family, so I think she's kind of like, it's okay if you don't have them for a while, but hopefully soon.
Yeah. My upbringing, so again, I grew up in the Bay, California. I've always been a sports guy, believe it or not. I played like everything growing up. I did t-ball, flag football, soccer, like every sport in the book. And then I kind of started liking soccer, so I mostly focused on that, but I was really, really fast. And then I started running the mile at school and doing really well. And so my parents put me in track, and then I did really well in track. I joined a team that competed across the country, so I did that for a few years. It's kind of funny because I always wanted to go to the Olympics. Ended up marrying someone who did, so it worked out. But I did track, and then everyone always asked me if I did sports in high school, and it's kind of sad, but I didn't. I kind of went back and forth between track and soccer, and then I also started liking basketball towards the end of high school, and so I was jumping around between sports. But then my 4 years of high school, I broke my femur, tore my Achilles, tore my hamstring, and I dislocated my knee twice. So, like, that just kind of, put me out of sports. So,
which is crazy because I have never had a surgery, and I've never had a broken bone.
I've broken, like, 6 bones my whole life. I've torn, like, 4 muscles and ligaments. Yeah, I was pretty injury-prone growing up. I've been pretty good lately. So now I just play basketball with friends. I bike. I do Ninja Warrior. But
sweet. Okay. Yeah. So next question, I mean, obviously it's pretty obvious because our podcast is agree to disagree. And so the next question is do we agree or disagree on things?
Okay, well, we should answer it at the same time.
Like what?
Like either say agree or disagree.
Okay, ready?
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
I disagree. Wait,
right.
Wait, what did I say?
You said a disagree, so I don't know what that means.
I was meaning to say disagree, but
okay,
it was
yeah. So we agree to disagree on that. We get along. I don't know how to put this, but we don't really agree on most stuff.
Yeah, Jonas is like too smart for me.
What does that mean?
I don't know. But then most of the time I'm right. He's like really book smart and like school smart. Like
I'm street smart too.
Jonas is really, really smart. He got a 35 on his ACT. Like almost got a 36, almost perfect score.
That's close.
But when it comes to like daily things,
You're just saying that because I broke the AC.
Yeah, he broke the AC.
That's my bad.
We'll have to, if you guys want to hear that story, we'll do it.
It was It was a $700 mistake.
Yeah,
that's on me.
Yeah. And I'll tell him things multiple times, and he doesn't listen because he thinks he knows what he's doing, and then it ends up turning really bad. So it is what it is. That's marriage.
True.
It's marriage life for you.
Question is, why do you think it's important to be open about your struggles? It's a good question.
I mean, I think the biggest thing for me, like social media can just be really hard in general. And even just from like a lot of influencers I've seen, sometimes they start opening up about stuff or something comes out. I don't know if you guys heard about like mom talk, like all over TikTok and all these different things that like you just like idolize these people and you think they're so perfect and you want to be just like them. But it's like everyone has trials. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody goes through things. And I think it would just be so cool to see more of that on social media. Like, showing your real life, the things that we've been through and how we overcome those things. And I think, it's just kind of like motivational talking. It's like you just learn so much from hearing people's stories and what they go through, and you can really relate to it, and get something from that. So I think it's just really important to be open about it. And I know I've been open about a couple of things through social media, a little bit on our YouTube channel. But I think what's going to make this podcast so special is that we'll be able to do more of that on here and let you guys really get a chance to get to know us and our thoughts on how we agree and disagree on different things, and help you through situations, because I feel like we've gone through a lot. I've gone through a lot of trials and struggles through gymnastics and, everything, through life, sports, school, bullying, the world is tough. It's hard. So
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, like, when we started the YouTube channel, we kind of wanted it to be fully transparent, like and a lot of people liked it. People were expecting, because, I don't know, like, I've seen vlogs, of people, and usually, like, they try and make it upbeat and happy, and, this is good stuff, and we just wanted to show everything, and a lot of it ended up being sad, unfortunate stuff, struggles, especially, like, that year leading up to the Olympics after everything got postponed. I think it helped. I don't know. I think it helped us, just because when you're open about your struggles, just in general, like whether it's, husband and wife, or you to your friends, or you to social media, like, it just helps to have other people in your corner, on your side, and they can't be if they don't know what you're going through. So I'm always an advocate of that, just being open. I always want to feel like, I'm someone people know they can talk to. Hope Mykayla knows you can talk to me. I'm probably most of her struggles.
Yeah, so. And I vent a lot, and
I can't.
For girls,
venting.
you guys know that guys don't like to listen to you vent, and girls just want to vent a lot. And it's just so frustrating that even no matter how many times you tell your significant other that, they just don't care.
I've tried.
I'm like, I just need a vent. Don't fix the problem. Just let me talk. Let me get it off my chest, and we'll move on, and I'll be fine. I don't want it to be solved. So
it's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. We're getting there.
Which brings us to our next question. What's the last thing you thought about?
So I would say
this podcast. What were you gonna say?
Kids.
Oh, we don't fight about kids though.
I fight about it.
It's more like Mykayla wants them yesterday, and I'm like, oh, we can wait. We'll see. That's not really a fight.
Yeah, I guess not.
I say this podcast because, like, 30 minutes ago, I'm like, hey, can we do the podcast? And you're like, I'm stressed, and I have homework to do, and it's late. And what else did you say?
I'm tired. I really want to do the podcast, but out of all
I was
days,
making the cameras look nice. If you can't tell, we're in our kitchen, and we don't have, like, we could have used a studio, but we figured it's cooler to do it in our house. We like the vibe. It's also a little more convenient for us. But I was messing with the cameras, and Mykayla got frustrated with me because it was taking me so long. And
it was taking forever. It's literally 10 p.m. right now.
This is my first time doing a podcast, so, like, I want to make sure everything works.
I know. It's okay. It's all going to work out. We're enjoying the podcast. Now that I'm doing it, I'm, like, really excited to be here and to talk. But in the moment, I'm just like, I wish we could have done this earlier, but we've had a crazy day, and I'm traveling this weekend and trying to get school done, so we're like, this is the best time. But anyway, okay.
How long have you been doing YouTube? We started YouTube, I think
right
it was
when we
2020.
got married.
Yeah, it was like a few months after we got married. It was probably like January of 2020. We were really good about it for a long time.
Yeah, I think
what made it hard was, like, the whole thing was documenting Mykayla's journey to the Olympics, right? Which is so easy because we didn't have to, like, come up with any ideas. It was just, I go to practice with her, I bring the camera. Or it was, hey, she gets a day off, I follow her around with the camera, Or it was like, I go to physical therapy with her with the camera. So, like, it was easy. Training updates were cool. I could, go to meets with her, and when I couldn't go, you'd film your own videos. Tokyo was really cool for me, at least, because, like, I was super bummed I couldn't go. But then every day Mykayla would send me her videos, and I kind of felt like I was there while I was editing the videos because I got to watch everything. And
But it was hard because I'm like sitting there trying to focus on my stuff and like not be distracted. And I'm used to Jonas like coming to practice and filming stuff. So I'm like trying to film stuff, but not like get in trouble by Tom like getting mad at me or something for like being distracted. I don't know. And Jonas is like, I need more videos. Give me updates. Give me updates. And I'm like, I just don't want to deal with it. Like I'm trying to focus. It's the Olympics, you know? So it was kind of hard to get stuff, but I got a decent
yeah,
amount of footage,
I
I
tried
feel
to not,
like.
I tried to not push you. I feel like it ended up being good, and like YouTube channel was great, and the community was great. Everyone that supported us followed along and commented, and people would come up to me during meets. Still do actually. I talked to some people when I went to what was that championships in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Mykayla was emceeing, and I talked to like a lot of people that came up to me after the meet that said that they loved our YouTube channel. They loved watching Mykayla's journey. It inspired them and stuff.
I know.
So I mean, so it was
Yeah.
awesome, and it was easy, and it was really cool sharing Mykayla's story that way, and like letting people have an inside look on her life. Because like you've always been controversial in gymnastics, right? And so like, and that was cool for me to see, is people be like, oh hey, like now that like I never really knew you, but you seem like a really cool person. Like Mykayla can come off as like fiery because she's a competitor, she like gets angry when she's
I do
competing.
get really angry.
But
It's
like
okay.
I think the YouTube videos help show that. But then the issue was after the Olympics, we built this whole audience, and YouTube was fun. Like we liked doing it, and
Well, it's like we had something cool to share. I mean, right now, I feel like there is stuff we could share. It's just been so hard because Jonas started a new job. I've repeated this so many times, but Jonas started a new job. I started school again, and then I was traveling so much over the summer that I just like, I don't know. I don't. Jonas doesn't always like to be in the videos. Like he hates taking pictures of me. I'm being honest. He hates taking pictures of
no,
me.
I'm okay taking
No.
a picture.
A picture one.
Yeah,
it has
if
to be
it's-
one. And
it's
I'm like,
more
you
than
can't
one.
just get the picture on one. You
got a
take like
limit.
50 and then you only get like one out of the 50. Anyway, so he just does like, he needs to work on his patience. He doesn't have patience.
That's true.
And
I'll agree on that.
yeah, thank you.
Yep.
First time he actually agrees with me.
Agree to agree.
So,
You
but
know.
he just doesn't want to be in videos. Like,
Well, okay, I'm fine being in videos. It's just you come to me with
yeah,
your
but
TikTok dances.
no,
and I say,
no.
I'm not
We were
doing
in
that.
Tampa and we were trying to film a video for you guys about emceeing. And Jonas was
'cause-
like, don't put me in it. Just do
'cause
it of yourself.
You wanted
and
me to just sit there. I don't have anything to say when
I
you're
know,
talking
but
about
it's like,
emceeing. So like,
just,
what am I supposed
just
to do?
join in.
sit
Just
there
like,
and
hey,
look
guy.
pretty?
I don't know. I think YouTube's
I feel
been
like
struggling because
We
I
could
have
planned
not.
it better.
Well, I'm sick of it just being me and always me. Like,
Well,
I
the
either
other
want it to
problem
be
is-
us or like eventually with our kids. And like, I feel like once we have kids, we'll have more things to do and things to be more relatable. But it's just kind of hard right now because I feel like I'm just kind of stuck. It's like,
Well, and
we've already been married. We've done all that. You guys have seen that. We did gymnastics and my whole journey. And now I'm kind of just like, we're just kind of like,
well, you got
there's
burnt
nothing-
out.
yeah, I wanted a break.
So while Mykayla was in Tokyo, I had a call with the manager of like the biggest YouTuber. His name is Mr. Beast, if anyone knows him. Super cool guy. Him and his manager. I don't know him, but had a call with his manager because Mykayla was on his manager's podcast. His name's Reed. It's a really good podcast, actually. Anyways, I was talking to him, and I was kind of telling him about like, hey, like we have this YouTube thing. We want to keep it going, but like, what are we supposed to do after the Olympics? Because this whole channel is, documenting her journey to the Olympics. Like I don't want to do prank videos forever, like every other couple.
That's another thing I hate about YouTube.
So
I'm like,
no, but hold on. So I was talking to Reed for a long time, and I have this pages of notes because obviously this guy knows YouTube, right? Like, he's the best at it. And so I had all these notes, like how to pivot our channel, like good ideas, like things we were gonna do, and I was like super excited. I had all these really good ideas, like we were gonna do a series of episodes of like Mykayla learning other sports, and like we're gonna find professionals, and we already had like people lined up. So like she was gonna get golf lessons from Bubba Watson, I think someone, and or like Tony Finau, and then it'd be cool, like see how an Olympic gymnast translates to other sports, and like maybe we throw me in as like the control group, And so we had like an MMA gym lined up. We had all these ideas, and then like Mykayla gets back from the Olympics, and like we move and everything's going really fast, and then it's like immediately you go on tour. And so I'm like, oh, cool, just get some tour vlogs. And you can go back on our channel and see, like, you were really good at first, and then, like, as tour went on, like, the videos got further and further apart, and, like, the quality was, like, worse and worse, and, like...
Tour was exhausting.
I don't blame you.
Girls,
it's fine.
it was like, I'm tired.
And so, like, that kind of died out. Then Mykayla gets back, and I'm like, hey, like, I got all these YouTube videos. Like, let's get cracking on it. And she's like, I need a break. And then that break just kind of, I don't know, lasted indefinitely.
Well, and then I was starting school, like...
Yeah, then school
started.
It was
like, we got
both
back,
of us.
We got back in October, and then it was, like, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then school started in January. So it was kind of just like...
And, like, I was already in school, and then, boom, January, I started my new job. And so then I'm doing full-time school and job, and, like... And now all of a sudden it's September. Like, that's really what this year has been. Like,
crazy.
So yeah, that's kind of that's a long story to where we're at with YouTube. But we're gonna be posting these on YouTube, so you might be watching on YouTube right now, which means we're back. I also am planning on cutting this up and posting like clips, like Joe Rogan does. So like, if you don't want to watch the whole, because this will probably be like 45 minutes. If you don't watch the whole 45 minutes. Then I'll have a clip like Jonas and Mykayla talk about what's going on with their YouTube right now. Or like Jonas and Mykayla talk about how they met, you know. So I think that'll be cool. In the meantime, until we go back to doing like videos of like stuff or I don't know. So if you have ideas, if you want us to do stuff, videos on YouTube.
I feel like we always say that.
If they're pranks, yeah, okay, comment. But like if they're pranks, they got to be good pranks for us to do it because...
Yeah, but I just don't like the whole prank thing.
I've talked to a lot of
influencers, and they hated doing pranks because you have to sit there and like plan it all, and it's not really a prank because they're planning it all. It's
it's not gonna be staged.
I don't get why that was so big. But
you tried a prank on me. The one time like we actually tried, I had no idea this was happening, so this was like legit. It wasn't scripted. Mykayla and her nieces were here. And I'm like upstairs, like working out or something. And I don't know. And they come upstairs and she's like, I got something to tell you. It's really important. Or you like call me and you're like, come downstairs. I'm like, no, like I'm busy. Sorry. Like I'm in the middle of a workout. I don't know what I was doing.
It was my niece's idea because they want me to have kids because I think my sister's done. My brother's done. I think my sister Katie's done. And so
we're their only chance at more cousins.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So Maddie was like, can we pull a prank on Jonas and pretend like you're pregnant?
So she comes upstairs and she's like, babe, I thought I was pregnant and I got this pregnancy test. And look, and she shows me and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm looking at. You think I've ever seen a pregnancy test before? So I'm like, great, 2 lines. I don't know what that means. You're going to have to tell me. And she like shows me there's like a little diagram. And I just knew that this wasn't a thing, right? I'm like, I know how this works. Like, I know you're not pregnant. And she was like, they're all sitting there trying to convince me for like 10 minutes. And like one of them's filming. I'm like, I'd see the camera. Like, I know you're filming me, like trying to get a reaction out of me. And then finally they broke down and they're like, yeah, we just colored in the extra line. So it could have been good, but like, I feel like that's kind of how pranks like I don't think
I mean my nieces
like, I wouldn't believe your pranks and you would just get mad at me for my pranks and like swear or something
normally
and then we couldn't post the video anyways.
Right, normally I wouldn't post that because I know that can be really offensive to people, but my nieces wanted to do it and just mess with Jonas. They love picking on him, they love playing with him, and so I was like, sure, let's just do it. And I had pregnancy tests like because one time...
No, you went to the store. You went to Target, remember? Because I said, what would you buy at Target?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So, long story short, we're kind of back on YouTube, but let us know what you want to see. Last few questions. We'll wrap it up. What is your hope for this podcast?
I mean, after spending time on thinking what we were going to do and what we were going to talk about, obviously our marriage... We have struggles and challenges, but our marriage works. We get through it. We agree and we disagree on things. And we want you guys to come with us with questions and any ways that we can help you and just kind of to see that, like, you guys don't have to be a perfect match. You don't have to get along all the time. You're not perfect. You make mistakes. And that's just part of life, and just for you guys to get to know us better. I'm just really excited to finally be doing a podcast. Like, this is so crazy it's happening. It's been really fun so far, and we can't wait for you guys to tune in and send us questions, and we get to respond. It's like way better than doing like an Instagram live or something, you know? So like, this is just really cool. We can really talk and take the time to really share our thoughts and opinions with you guys.
Yeah, I agree. Just to add, like, I kind of want to let people know that it's okay to have this dynamic. Like it's not a joke. Like, we really do agree to disagree on like everything. But our marriage works. Like, I remember we'd been dating for a few months, maybe not even, maybe like a month or two. And like, I was hanging out with a friend I hadn't seen in a while, and he was like, "Oh, so how are things going? Like, have you guys had your first fight yet?" And I'm like, "First fight? We've had our first 300 fights." Like, and it had been like a month or something. And but that's just that's kind of how it was. Like, we're a lot better now, but like, yeah, it still works. Like, so hopefully we can show that. The other thing I'm excited for is we have a cool lineup of topics, which is actually the next question. What topics do you think you'll cover on this podcast? A lot. Like, our list: relationships, getting married young, being married young, the importance of lazy days, crypto. It's like my thing. I'm excited for that one. Friends, fitness, finances. That'll be a good one. Body image, diet culture, cancel culture, success at an early age, overcoming adversity, roommates, social media, the beauty industry, sports, husband watching sports. It's a whole other issue.
Et cetera, et cetera. You get the point. Don't give them all away yet.
Yeah, and that's true. So we have an awesome lineup. I'm really excited to dive into them.
And then I think we can just answer the last question that we have, which was, what was the hardest part about marriage? And just real quick, to end out the podcast, I mean, the hardest part about marriage was, I mean, I think with being LDS, being members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I mean, I feel like everybody kind of gets married young, and especially that's just kind of like the culture, you know? And I mean, obviously I was ready to get married, but I mean, marriage is a big deal. And I feel like sometimes you don't always think about it like that, really. Like, you're just like, oh, I want to get married. That's like every girl's dream, right? To get married and plan her wedding and have the big day. But then it's like, once you're married, like, it's great and it's fun. And I feel like Jonas and I, like, we really did have a great time. But like, I was so busy with gym and stuff. But I think the hardest part was Jonas was working with Vivian at the time. So he would usually just work during the summers. So then he was like with me 24/7, always at home, didn't work the rest of the year. And then COVID happened, and we were just with each other a ton. But the biggest thing is, like, we didn't live together before we got married. So like, we just were not used to like
picking up hair all over the place.
Yeah, just like the little things, like
on the shower wall. Like, explain that.
all over the floor, everywhere. But that's just girls. We just shed a lot of hair, and guys don't understand it. But anyway, there's just tons and tons of things. But you know, we each grow up with different lifestyles and different families and how things work and what we do, and you got to like compromise and like figure out how you guys work. And then I feel like we would fight over just like the stupidest little things because we're like, I just don't understand why you do that. But it's like, that's just how I grew up doing it. And so I feel like the first year was a little rough, like adjusting to that. But then like once we kind of found out what works and doesn't work, we just kind of made adjustments, and I feel like just became more normal and natural, and we just get through it better.
I agree. Yeah. Surprisingly.
Yeah, you haven't disagreed with me yet today. It's interesting.
Oh yeah, I think
Weird.
you said it well. So that's it. I mean, we hope you guys got to know us a little bit better, and hope you're as excited for this podcast as we are.
We cannot wait to connect with you guys more, so make sure to leave a comment down below. Connect with us through social media so we can know what you guys want to see on the show.
And subscribe wherever you're listening or watching to this podcast, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you guys on the next episode.